Greetings! I am Fire Lotus, and welcome back to another live Witches Chat. If you have not already, go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you get all the notifications when I go live and or post videos. So I am gonna wait until we get a little movement in here. And before that intro, hi, I am Fire Lotus. I've been doing these for about 4 years now. Just discovered today that I've been on YouTube for 5 years. Holy shit. Also finally broke 400, so hello and welcome. Um, in these live witches chats, we kind of go over a little bit of everything except for like politics. Sometimes we go over world events, but primarily based spiritual and or paranormal, witchcraft, pagan, all of those. Um, I'm extremely excited. Oh, I did not know I could do this. Oh, look at that. Okay. So I'm extremely excited to see where this goes. Um, so this is going to be a very complex live. You'll understand when we get into it, which if you read the title, it's Quantum Leaping and Magical Theory. So I myself am just getting and kind of, okay, let me explain what I experienced before this. Okay, so 2 experiences. One was from my partner and the other one was from me the other night. So right as it was 2019 and it was still cold. This is before the world pandemic hit, right? And my partner had walked into a Circle K. I think he was getting off of work. It was kind of like 8 or 9 o'clock. And he walked in and he said that when he got back out to the car, he was like, as soon as I opened the door and walked in the store, it was like everything was just emptied. There were like leaves on the ground. And he's like, it looked post apocalyptical. He's like, I don't understand why, but it was like, that's what it looked like. And it like legit freaked him the fuck out. And we didn't know what it was. I was like, maybe it's a premonition. And then literally about 4 or 5 months later, Corona broke out, right? So fast forward to the other night, and me and my partner had this thing where when he gets off and he's on his way home, we talk on the phone. We used to do it before I moved down here. That's how we got so close. We literally used to talk all the fucking time. Anyways, we were talking and he went to open his check from the envelope, but what I heard sounded like he was clocking a gun, which he does not own or have. We don't. Um, and in that exact moment, it's like I jumped, or like in my head, I was experiencing this entire scenario where it looked post apocalyptical. Like I was in this kind of rundown building. And it was weird because I say post apocalyptical, but we were talking on like walkie talkie cell phone things, and he was going on a run, and it was so weird because like I remember being in my body. I remember like, and it was so weird because what I experienced happened, like it felt like it felt like it was 10 minutes, but in reality it was just a couple of seconds. So I went to TikTok and I was like, hey, I have a question. There's this term going around, shifting, quantum leaping. Shifting's newer, quantum leaping has been around for a while. Ned deGrasse has even talked about it. And I was like, okay, I've had premonitions before. I've had deja vus before. I've had moments of where like I was reliving the past. If y'all want me to talk about that, let me know. But I was like, this was different because it was almost like I was literally experiencing. It's almost like somebody put VR set on me, and I was experiencing that. And I started asking questions, so somebody told me it was quantum leaping, which sent me down a rabbit hole. I'm going to try to explain what quantum leaping is. So you have an atom and you have a neutron. So the neutron or the atom, no, the neutron is at a certain point of energy, right? So the atom is at another point of energy. And basically, in a matter of seconds, this goes from that. It's really kind of complex to explain, and I believe YouTube is suppressing this video due to the fact of what it's called. I don't really care though, because whether I have viewers or not, I'm still going to talk about this. So I fell down a rabbit hole, right? So I was like, all right. And I've done shit for this because I personally do not like what some of this rhetoric of quantum leaping and shifting is, because it can lead you down some unhealthy habits, especially if you have a mental health regimen. So I was like, all right, let's see where this goes. So I've been randomly looking up videos, YouTube videos, podcasts, reading articles about it because it's interesting to me. Well, last night I had a dream that I've never had before. So if you've been following me for a while, you know that with my spirit guides, I have a dream system set up to where if I go to sleep and I need to talk to them, we meet at this diner. I don't know if I've ever actually been to this diner, but it feels very familiar, right? And I know if I see this diner, then I'm talking to my spirit guides. Last night I walk into the diner and I sit down, and the person in front of me is me, but different. Like older, and also features were slightly different. And I do not remember the conversation that we were having, but it was the weirdest fucking thing I've ever experienced. And I've lucid dreamed before. I've possibly astro traveled once or twice, but like I don't really focus on it. But besides my twilight meditation that I do, or twilight scrying, I don't really do anything else like that. And it was so weird because even as I was talking to myself, I'm freaking out because I'm like, wait, I'm talking to myself. Now, this is where it goes into magic theory, kind of, which is what am I tapping into? So some people believe that it's the universal or the what is it called? Technically multiverse, which is basically some people believe that every action that you take, every decision you make in this world, there is an opposite reaction. So in other words, there is a universe of every decision you've ever made being the opposite. And then it kind of goes on to that, to that, to that, to that. There could be hundreds of thousands of them, right? Now, what's interesting is on the scientific community, they have recently just actually found an entire like hub of fucking galaxies that we've never seen before. So it in itself, we're still learning about a lot. Now, this also ties into all the particles that they found, the God particle, the angel particle. And these particles, some of these particles, they do things that theoretically, from what we know with physics, it's not supposed to do. And it's cool because, like I said, Neil deGrasse even talks about this because it is possible for a quantum leap. And the reason that I was hesitant of talking about this, because I don't want to sound like one of those new age people, but it's interesting because if you look at what quantum leaping is, and then you look at what the definition of magic that I go by is, it's kind of an advanced level of that. Now, what I mean by that is the true definition of magic, of what I call magic, is very simple, which is you are learning through energetic manipulation. You are manipulating the atoms and ions and neutrons around you to get a desired result. And sometimes we will mix those energies and push them out. So it's it there's so many questions that like I have, like, are we tapping into another universe, a mirror universe? Am I tapping into my future self? Because if we look at time being literature, there are some people, literature, I said that weird, but there are some people that believe time is constantly going, which also means the past, the present, and the future are simultaneously happening all at the exact same time. So if that being said, with that being possible, is it possible to tap into a future memory? Now, we can do this with past life regression, where we're basically tapping into a past life memory, which can be dangerous if you have, well, in general, it can be dangerous because what happens if the memory you actually tap into is basically the moment that you died in that life? It can be very, very traumatic. But what I want to know is, and the reason that I'm so fascinated with this is I want to know, for one, what triggered it? What triggered me to have that episode? Can I trigger it again, and can it be redone? And when it comes to magic, that's what we mean by magic over mundane. It's okay, can you say you just had something very strange happen? Can you recreate it? Can it be replicated? If not, then that falls under the lines of it's probably magical. Versus, seeing a shadow out of the side of your eye. If maybe it was a curtain, maybe something actually caused that versus something that you cannot recreate. And with magic, that's hand in hand. There are a lot of things that you'll experience to where you will question if you're going crazy. But here's the great news. If someone who's actually going crazy, they'll never actually question if they're crazy because they won't be in the right mind state to even question if they're going crazy. Crazy people do not think they're crazy. That's so if you ever get to a point where you're asking yourself, "Oh my god, have I lost my mind? Am I crazy?" Congratulations, you're not crazy because you just asked yourself, "Are you crazy?" Um wow. The fucking techno gods are just not liking me today. Either that or what I'm talking about is just not interesting to other people, and that's okay. We can all agree to disagree. Now that that's out of the way, I want to have another interesting conversation, which is the world conscious experiments. Now you're probably asking me, what the hell is this? So, and I will post links to the like Wikipedia page of this. That way you can also like just fall down the rabbit hole as well. Random number generators. What the hell is that? So, from my understanding, what a random number generator is, it's exactly that. It randomly generates numbers. Well, where do they get this? From my understanding, it's through the barometric system. There we go. It will actually randomly pull depending on where the pressure's at, depending on where these machines are at. By the way, there are 70 of them placed all around the world. And the reason they tap into that is because it's constantly changing, so it's constantly spewing out random numbers. Well, it just so happened in trigger warning, it just so happened that this experiment was going on in 2001. You probably know where I'm going with this. In 2001, this experiment was going on. And they noticed something because on the day 9/11, 3 hours specifically before the event even took place, the machines started to sync up. All 70 machines synced up and started pushing out the exact same number frequency. To this day, it has never been recorded. We also have to remember that 9/11 was one of the most, it's not the most destructive or anything like that, but it was the most viewed world disaster that has ever taken place in human history. More people got to view that and watch that than any other event throughout history. So far, knock on wood, there will not be any more of those. And they realized, and it blew their minds because what that shows is that the connected consciousness of itself, the entire world, was severely impacted at least 3 hours before that event ever played out. Think about that. It was so dramatic and it was so messed up that it sent a shockwave through our entire fabric of time. It sent a ripple effect 3 hours before the first plane even went down. And they have tried over and over again to figure out why and how it happened. And still to this day, they have absolutely no explanation except for the conscious of what we are, the human world, our universe felt it sensed that something major was going to happen. Now, what's even more interesting than that, and it blows my mind, is that after that, a few months later or throughout the years, they did a survey of random people from all around the world, all different age groups that were alive during that time and that could understand it, and everybody says the exact same thing. Everybody basically woke up that day and they just felt something was off. They felt like something was going to happen. They were on high alert. Their bodies were on high alert, and nobody understood why until that messed up event happened. Think about that. We literally have proof that scientifically cannot be discredited that something happened to where everybody was fully connected and fully alert during that horrible, horrible day. And it's even more proof that because we have things like quantum entanglement, and I myself cannot even go through the process of like what that is, but it's interesting to see if it can be redone. Not the random number generator. By the way, did you know there are random number generating apps? I have one on my phone that I downloaded this morning. It's weird because it has if you live in a state where it's where you can gamble, like here in Florida where we have the Florida lottery, it actually has two sections for that where it'll randomly generate certain numbers. It's got a dice one. There's one that you can do spin the bottle. It's got a coin flip. Um, but it's interesting because I look at random number generators almost like tarot cards or oracle cards, specifically tarot cards. And listen to me, hear me out. Tarot cards, they have like 79 cards. So my question is, and I wish I could do the math on this, what are the mathematical equations or mathematical possibilities of you getting the same reading over and over again after you shuffle the card? Now, these are things people don't ask because I've always been interested with the tarot and oracle cards is like, is it actually like actual divine or is it just by all chance? And if it is by chance, what's the chances of getting a double reading before? Because I've gotten one before. I've shuffled the cards, I've literally done them in every way possible, shuffled them like 20 times and laid back down and still got the exact same cards time after time. What's the mathematical percentage of that? And this is what we need to do in witchcraft to start showing people that witchcraft is basically science. It's just a spicier kind of science. I've always loved fringe science, basically things that are just kind of fringy. Um, and it's because in order to learn things, we have to question things and even sometimes question things that don't even make sense. We have to hypothesize, we have to theorize. And some of these theories at some points in times throughout history, Albert Einstein, so many people made fun of him. So many people thought he was dumb. He didn't even finish high school. I think he dropped out in the 8th grade, if he made it then. 7th or 8th. And now basically, but at the time of Einstein's existence, a lot of people did not think they thought he was basically dumb. They thought he was stupid. They thought he was crazy. And now look, we're still using his work today. Nikola Tesla, a lot of people thought he was fucking crazy. We're still like, think about this. All the crazy conspiracy theories, not even conspiracy theories, all these crazy thoughts and these crazy, people throughout history that were deemed crazy during their times are now immortalized, whether that's through statue, through museum, through books, through their own work. They will always be known for these great-minded people, and at points in times they were basically condemned crazy. Um, and it fascinates me because and I found one YouTube video where a guy was explaining quantum leaping. I've got to watch the second video. Apparently somebody made or is making a generating random number generator, but also to try to connect it to people to actually redo the experiment. um and this is just stuff that's not talked about, which obviously, as you can tell, fucking YouTube doesn't like me talking about it either. They're suppressing it big time. But yeah, that's it. It's interesting, and I'm going to try different experiments with meditation, using meditation and frequencies. Eventually going to incorporate crystals into it to actually see if I can recreate it or re-trigger it. It's interesting though, and a lot of people don't talk about it. And if you follow me for a while, you're probably like, why the fuck are you talking about this? You're a witch. Yes, I am, but I'm also a very spiritual person and a very open-minded person to an extent. There are some things that I just do not understand. Um, and the only way to enlighten yourself is to either A, experience it, B, run a magical theory experiment like I did with versus setting your intention versus actually practicing magic. Um, but yeah, I think I'm gonna cut this live short. We're about at 20 minutes, and this is also gonna be hopefully converted into a podcast episode. I have been advertising more that I've been doing these live here on TikTok, so that's gonna be interesting. I'm thinking about doing a Q&A on some of my profiles to see if I can get like an actual couple of questions to be answered. Here recently, like the whole algorithms on multiple platforms are just not liking me. And you know what? I don't care. Um with that being said, I did want to remind everybody that I am running the specials on the 2 love spells. For this month, Respark and/or Enter the Next Chapter of Your Life, aka Bring in Your Next Partner. I'm also doing a honey jar again, a community honey jar. Also posted a video explaining honey jars are not closed because multiple cultures worldwide have used them. Um, that is going to be going until the 16th is the cutoff date because it will be made on the 17th, which is this month's full moon. Super excited about that. I also offer oracle readings. I'll be posting a video shortly on my shorts about that and my prices. I also do consultations. I also do oracle readings, multiple types. I also do custom spell work, which means you message me, we have a conversation and a consultation to figure out what type of spell you need. I'll customly create it, do it, update you through pictures and or videos of the entire process. Remember, with all spell work, you have footwork on your end. But yeah, until then, I think that's going to be it. I am working on a couple of new projects. You'll see that soon. If you check out my Instagram and or my TikTok, you'll already see the candle that I did last night. And the response that I got from that, I was not expecting. So there will be more of those. I did not make the candle, but I did the artwork on the candle, and came out amazingly. But yeah, until then, I hope everybody is staying warm or staying dry. Or staying cool, depending on where you're at. So yeah, until then, I will see y'all all. Peace.